Hello and welcome to BQ Prime. A very good morning to all the viewers. I'm Hiral Dadia. Innovate companies have been in focus over the last couple of trading sessions and post earnings as well. A lot of phenomena that we witnessed in terms of how the demand scenario is panning out, what's selling, overall, how the pricing pressure is coming in, and from here on, where we are set to go. Joining us on the show is Vinod Kumar Gupta, Managing Director at Dollar Industries, to discuss more on this. Mr. Gupta, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Mr. Gupta, overall, I was just looking at the financial numbers to understand the demand perspective. FY21, a 7% growth is what we saw in terms of the top line. 22 was a good year with a 29% growth that did come in. Again, we've gone down to a single digit that's around 3 to 4% in FY23. Uh, what is this actually indicating from a demand perspective, according to you?
See, if you are talking about dollar, everybody knows that we are into the basic. I mean, ultimately, people cannot live without undergarments that we manufacture. So, demand is okay. Demand side, there is no problem. The only problem in 22-23 was exactly the uh, uh, heavy fluctuation in the raw material prices, that is the cotton and the cotton yarn. Because of the heavy fluctuation in the prices, uh, the entire year 22-23 was under stress. Demand from the market also got subdued from the viewpoint of the retailers and the distributors, because everybody was under fear that the prices might go down. So ultimately, they limited their purchases. For that reason, only 22-23 we saw only 3 to 4% growth in the top line. And of course, the bottom line, there was a negative growth because we were holding high value raw materials, and which had eaten away the entire profits. But demand from the market now, since the prices got stabilized in the fourth quarter of 22-23, the prices of raw material, both cotton and cotton yarn, have got stabilized. And now we have invested a good amount of demand from the both side of distributors and the retailers level, and the market has already started picking up now.
Right. So market has started to pick up. We'll talk about the cost and the way cotton prices are panning out a little later. The other question I have from a demand perspective is a lot of smaller players that have started to come in. In fact, they've already been selling. With retail, the clear question is how is the organized and the unorganized segments panning out, right? Now, we can't really call this the unorganized segment, but it's these boutique brands that do come in. Yes, there are other brands as well who are only selling online but not offline. How are you seeing that trend? Do you think that there is a potential for them to eat away market share? And if yes, what is it that you think a company like yours will have to do correctly, to make sure that the market share is actually intact?
Everybody knows that auxiliary sector, there is a good amount of players from the unorganized sector. I mean, the smaller players and the regional players are in huge numbers. We are fighting for acquiring more and more shelf spaces in the store of a retailer, so that we can place our product into those shelf spaces, and we can increase our demand. We are penetrating into the market. For that reason only, we have already started a project called Project Lunch, so that we can increase the number of retailers all across the country. Right now, we have got more than 1.25 lakh retailers who are selling dollar products, but we have set a target of taking it to more than 4 lakhs in 2 to 3 years of time. For that, we have engaged an organization consultancy firm called Vector Consultants, and we have already implemented the project Lux in 6 states all across the country, and we are finding a very, very good result out of this. This particular project is there only to increase the shelf space in the retailer's shop, and also to increase the number of retailers all across the country. The moment you are into this, ultimately you will see that the impact from the local players, impact from the regional players will be minimal on your brand. Now, if you look at the e-commerce platform, of course, there are we are also present, but we need to scale it up. Right now, it's hardly 2 to 3% of the total turnover that's been sold on e-commerce platforms. But we have taken steps to take it to more than 5% in the near future. And for that, we are already in consultation with the gentleman from Bangalore who is to take it up as a project and and to
So
see a good amount of the business coming out of this e-platform. Of course, there are negligible brands which are only available online; they are not present offline. But then ultimately, the fight is on, and we will have to fight it out.
right. So overall, that's from a demand supply perspective. Now, coming on a price point basis, as you mentioned, prices in terms of cotton yarn was higher earlier. How much high stock, high cost stock do we already have yet which needs to be liquidated?
Right now, we have already done away with the high price stock in the fourth quarter of 22-23 itself. Right now, we are not holding any high price stocks in the company system in this current financial year.
Right. So, Mr. Gupta, clearly, then moving on to the raw material now, if you talk about cotton, it's currently trading in that 55,000 to 60,000 per cotton candy kind of a range. And clearly that has told us that the prices are easing out. In fact, May itself saw a release of significant cotton volumes in the market, which actually caused the demand supply disproportion, and that has actually resulted in a steep fall in terms of the average cotton prices. Now, taking this into consideration, how are you expecting it to come and aid your margins overall in FY24?
See, we have already worked on our calculations to maintain an EBITDA level of 12 to 13% in this current financial year. And cotton prices, as you have rightly said, the prices are now ruling between 56,000 to 60,000 per kandi. And only day before yesterday, our government of India has revised the MSP for cotton also by 7 to 9%, depending on the size of the staple, medium staple, and then the long staple. The prices have already been revised, MSP. So we understand that in the coming future, the prices are going to remain in this level of 60,000 per kandi, plus minus 2 to 3,000. So, according to that, we want to maintain our profitability in this current financial year. That, as I told you, EBITDA level of 12 to 13%, and then stay it to a further high level in the near future.
Right. From there on, so that's on the margin perspective. From there, if you see in terms of the various, like as you mentioned, Project Laksha, that's already contributing to domestic sales at a higher level now. Athleisure, how is the performance of that segment looking like? Because in FY23, you saw a contribution of almost 13%. What's the growth outlook?
Athleisure, it's been doing very well, and we are running short of the material right now. Even the summer, we had a good amount of planning in the month of January itself for looking at the summer season. And summer, as you know, it's going very well. And we are running short of the material. We have already sold whatever we had planned to sell in this first quarter of the current financial year. And we are right now running short of the material. And now we will have to scale up our production for the winter season. That is, we are now planning. And the amount of business we are finding is too good. I mean, we are always, this year we have set a target of not less than 30% increase in the business of our athleisure business for the current financial year.
Okay, so 30% growth is what you're looking
Correct.
at as well in terms of
Correct.
athleisure, right? And
Yeah.
overall, from Project Laksha perspective, are you expecting the contribution to domestic sales increase due to Project Laksha? And if yes, by how much?
Project Laksha, we have already started only 6 states, and there we have already crossed the targets. And the amount of business coming out of this Project Laksha is too good. Now we are thinking of expanding to other states as well. There are certain bottlenecks which we will have to remove before getting into it. And right now, the sales out of those six states is we have already seen a jump of 15 to 20% every year.
Right. So that's with regards to where Laksha goes. And my very last question coming to you, Ms. Vinod Gupta, is that clearly we spoke about the demands and supply side of it. Now, is there anything that you're seeing in terms of a price war where there is cutthroat competition and there is a constant need to reduce prices?
No, there is no chance of getting any reduction in the prices. We are, of course, experiencing certain amount of competition in the market. But then ultimately, for every manufacturer, 22-23 was a very bad year. Now everybody is now looking up a good amount of profits in this current financial year. So in spite of going through the stiff competition, I don't think there will be a further cut in the prices.
Right. So that's with regards to where price trend goes. Thank you, Mr. Gupta, so much for speaking to
Thank you
us
very much.
at BQ
Thank you.
Prime,
Thank you.
and good luck for the coming quarters.